Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Good. Good. Can anybody? Can anybody share with me what one thing you got out of that video? Anybody? One thing. Yes.
That you never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Right? What else? Well,
Dream bigger.
I go for an old saying: if it's to be, it's up to who?
Me.
If it's to be, it's up to me. Yes. Mario.
If you stop growing, you're dying.
That's right. Stop growing your time. Why did we all get into this business? Why did you get into this business? Why did you decide to sell real estate? Right, tell me. Huh?
Help people.
I wanted lifestyle.
To help people. To create your own lifestyle, right? And in order to create your own lifestyle, you have to decide what that means, right? But nobody can stop you from that. You get to choose your lifestyle. That's the best thing about the business that we're in. Not only are you in what I believe is the best business, you're also working for the best company as well. And we're going to talk about that a lot today. So welcome to Welcome to 3 Ways How to Grow Your Business. We've got a great regional meeting set up for you guys today, but I want to give you this stat so you know this. Do you guys know how many offices we have? How many branch offices you have access to as an agent? How many offices do we have? Branch offices. Anybody know?
28.
Huh?
28.
28.
428.
No, just Remax Gold, okay? So for those of you that aren't aware of this, you should know this, okay? First of all, we're the #1 Remax franchise in the state of California. Why is that important? Well, you go on listing presentations, that's a great thing to talk about. We're also the #3 Remax franchise in the world. Just about to become #2. We're so close to becoming #2 in the world. We have, who's ahead of us? Minnesota, there's a Remax in Minnesota that's #1, and a Remax in Canada that's #2. Okay? Do you know what our average agents, how many transactions our average agents close a year? It's now up to 18. 18. As compared to any other agent, any other company out there, the next closest company is at about 9. 8.89. So you guys are truly the best agents in the industry. And the reasons why we have these meetings is just to simply help you get better. And what we know will happen is if you understand the 87-13 rule. I talk about this at the beginning of every single one of the meetings that I do. And what's the 87-13 rule? 13% of what you hear, you will retain. 87% of what you write down, you will retain. So the moral of that story is,
Write it down.
everybody say it together, take notes! All right. Okay, so let's get started off. We're going to go around the room, and I'm going to point to a couple people. Tell me something good today about you in real estate. Let's see. Mike Moore. Ha, tricked you, didn't I? Mike Moore, tell us something good today about you in real estate.
Well, I have an awesome team, and we're just charging away, and I love the area we live in and work in, and it's just getting better all the time.
Okay.
I love the company.
Okay.
We're doing good business, and it's on roll, man. It's good.
Fantastic. Michelle Perez. You can't hide from me back there. Michelle Perez. Stand up. Stand up.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited because today has been set aside for learning and growing and developing, so I'm really excited to raise the bar.
All right. Okay, let's see. Monica Hardinger.
Personally, it's exciting because I'm doing this month 2 transactions with 2 different Remax Gold agents.
All right. Cool. That's fantastic. Lupe.
I'm excited because I've had several phone calls on listings this week, so I've got 3 listing appointments this week.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations. Carlos.
I'm on track to beat a new record for myself
Fantastic. Congratulations.
for this year.
Does he deserve a round of applause?
Yeah.
It's a tough crowd in here, Carlos. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. Debbie.
I formed a new team. Martha's my new teammate. So
Fantastic, congratulations. Okay, let's see here. All right, so we'd like to bring up one of our NASCAR board of directors, who's one of our own, to have him speak to you for a quick little second. Let's bring up.
Well, actually, we have a special guest. We have Mark DeQuinteros. He's the treasurer and board of directors here for NSCAR. Mark, come on up. Come on up. Share with us. You need your mic.
Well, that was, I don't need the microphone,
All right.
I totally got a big mouth. That was quite a video we just watched, right? You know what, you love what you do, that's why you're here. And if you love what you do, I encourage you to be part of the association. We have a terrific association. I'm running for treasurer again, did it for 2 years. And I tell you, the one reason why I decided how can I best serve the association is because I really got a handle on the budget. We just came out of Budget and Finance Committee, but we have a terrific association. We are one of the best across the United States. It's because of companies like yours that help support us. I'm asking for you to take a look inside the association. We have our elections, we have presidents, we have people running for the directorship, and we have one of your own, Mario Antuna over there. And what has impressed me about Mario is the fact that he's got involved in our committees and helps set things up for our NSCAR Charitable Foundation for raising money. So you have one of your own that's taking time out of their real estate career. But at the same token, I want you to understand this, my network of agents has grown immensely because I'm involved in association and I deal with other associations on the CAR level, and it's like, you know what, it grows your business. It really does. So I'm just asking for you to walk over to the association, take time out, vote, okay? And I want to bring up Mario and have him speak to you for a few minutes. You got one of your own. Give it up for Mario.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Let me ask a question. Who's voted? Raise your hands. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. 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 But seriously, my whole aspect of this, like Mark was saying, is since I got into real estate for a little over 5 years now, and just being part of the association and just getting out there and wanting to meet a lot of new people has been sort of my drive and my passion to get more involved and work with more people, and obviously get to meet more people as well too, agents, because eventually we're going to work together. And that aspect of mine, and also too, just growing up in a big family, we were always there. I had all my cousins, my aunties, uncles, so I always had that big feel. So for me, just wanting to grow the community and wanting to do what I can to chip in to benefit the rest of everyone else in our real estate community is why I'm actually running for a board of director position. So please vote. I have some ballots here. You can vote electronically. And then one final question. Who saw my video?
All right.
All right, thank you.
Next, we'd like to recognize our leading partners, starting with Home Street Bank. Back there in the back is Monette Campos. Monette, stand up for a second. Here's Monette Campos. Would you like to say a few words? Would you like to say a few words?
Come on.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. I'm also excited to be here this morning to share with you the results of our GSFA Platinum program. For those of you who haven't heard it, it's Golden State Finance Authority. It's a grant. So it helps low and moderate income families for their down payment and for their closing costs as well. For some of the agents here who have been using it, let me just give you a scenario. One scenario that's my favorite is a college graduate who just got a job offer letter. So we were able to give him a platinum for 5% down payment, and along with it, we gave we also layered the chadam. So not only he was able to close with $1,000 escrow deposit that was gifted by the parents, but also the excess, maybe $1,000 from the grant no, I'm sorry, from the CHEDAP was also credited towards the principal reduction. Isn't that nice for a college graduate just to purchase his first home? And I also brought a flyer, so if you need some flyers for that grant, let me know. And one of my other favorites that we just closed for Remax 2 is a first-time home buyer that have 3.5% down payment of their own money that they were able to save up, but cannot qualify for a $400,000 purchase price. So they only qualify for $350,000. So the 3.5% that they were able to save, they paid off the car. So then they used the 5% platinum grant. So not only that they were able to pay off the car, but they were also able to purchase a $400,000 home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we'd like to bring up from Solar City, Ken Donaldson. We really think that solar is becoming such an important part of what we do as agents, and so we've had him come talk at a couple other of our events, so we're going to bring him here today to talk to you guys about solar as well. So Ken Donaldson.
Hi, my name's Ken. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Hector. I'm a Nevada high school graduate. I worked in real estate 5 years. My identical twin brothers worked in real estate. We're in for 30 years. So I know that's the reason I'm not a realtor. You have a tough job. Okay. We're going to go over a little bit. I'm going to jam a half hour into 10 minutes, so please excuse me for talking quickly. Agenda today, why solar now? Hey, what's happened? Why is it taking off? Carbon emission legislation, that'll put you to sleep. Solar system, purchase versus a lease, what's the difference? PG&E tiered rating structure, let's take a look at the rates and why solar is really going to save you money. Solar City. First, why solar now? What's happened? It's grid tied. Actually, that happened in 1970. Now it's tied to the grid. So when the panels aren't producing, you get electricity from PG&E. Okay? Net metering became law in 2010. Uncle Arnold did it for us. It's a law that if you produce more energy than you use from your panels, the meter goes backwards. You get a credit. So you're producing more during the summer, you get credits to use when? At night when your panels don't produce. During the winter when your panels produce maybe 30% of what they do during the summer. Okay? But what happens with net metering is it's a year's time period. The clock starts running when you install solar. You don't pay PG&E other than a $4 minimum charge for a year. You keep track of you underproduced, charge, credit. At the end of 12 months, you have a true-up where you settle with PG&E. Evolution of the lease. The lease actually came about, so I work for Solar City. I don't know if you know our affiliation with Tesla. Elon Musk is the one that came up with the lease. His cousins, the Wright brothers, run Solar City. Elon is the chairman of the board. The cost of solar has dropped. Everybody's getting into the business. Climate change? Yeah, now it's coming about climate change, but in the past, neighbors wanted their neighbors to worry about climate change, and some people didn't believe in it. Now, it's really difficult not to believe in it. Okay, carbon emission legislation. Even the Chinese agree with climate change. Back in November 2014, California, Uncle Jerry says, by 2020, you're going to have 33% all utilities, clean energy, or you're going to be fined. They're at 24% right now, PG&E. Now what's going to happen in December this year, the whole world's going to get together and come up with some guidelines for carbon emissions. So climate change, even the Pope, if you heard him last week, think of future generations, embrace alternative energy sources, consider pollution's effect on the poor, call Kenneth Solar. Well, but he was thinking it. Trust me. Snuck that in, huh? What are the options? The purchase. Now, what's left? Nothing's left in the state. 30% federal tax credit. Example, you spend $20K, you get $6,000 back. It's a reduction of the tax. But you got to spend the $20,000 up front. A lien on the home, if it's not 100% cash purchase, there's going to be a lien. You're going to have to deal with it. The title companies are going to show that when you sell the home. Solar City financing, we've got financing. If you finance a purchase through us, it's actually a fixture filing. It's not a lien. When you sell a house, it's actually, we take the fixture filing off the home, it's sold, we put it back on. So it wouldn't inhibit the sale. A lease, the panel's owned by the solar company, you buy the electricity the panels produces. Equal monthly payment, like I said, fixture filing for solar. So what happens if you sell the house? So let's say you transfer it to the new owner. What if the new owner doesn't want it? Well, if they're gonna be saving so much money on electricity, maybe they're not, but part of the job of a realtor. You know, what if somebody doesn't want a pool? You don't show them a house with a pool. You know, so it's touting the benefits of solar, and especially a year or 2 years from now, it's a movement. I mean, solar is taking off. Solar City installed more, we installed more this year than we did in the last 5 years combined, okay? So you transfer it to the new owner, you can prepay or lease move to a house. Realtor contact, when you know that your house is going to go on the market, then talk to the solar company, talk to the owner, make sure you understand what the financing mechanism is with the solar and what you're going to have to do with the title company or with the new buyers, okay? Now, a significant announcement last Friday, in case you didn't hear it, the first overhauling rates in 15 years. They're going to go from 4 to 2 tiers, all right? Now, you probably don't know what's happening right now, but here's what it looks like right now. There's 4 tiers. You spend over $50 a month, the lowest rate is 16 cents. Spend over $50 a month, it costs 19. Spend over $65 a month, it's 28 cents. Spend over 115, 34 cents. So you can see, you're paying twice as much for electricity if you spend more than $115. They want to change that. They want to change it. It's going to be by 2019. These are just, they haven't come out with the rates, but this is an example. They want a 25% difference. So what does that mean? San Francisco, other coastal counties, the cost is going to rise. Because a lot of them, they're just up in tier 1, 2, some in tier 3. But what's going to happen like areas like here, Solano County, costs are going to decrease. These tiers are going to go down. They're going to be reduced. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Now, here's something interesting too, I find. If you look on page 2, look, there I am. Sorry. If you look on page 2 of the PG&E bill, you'll see what's included. Most people don't look at it. Why? They have no control. They just pay it. Generation, that's actually creating your electricity, is about 46%. Distribution and transmission, those two together, you know, almost 44% of the bill is to get the electricity to you. That's why PG&E rates are so high. They've got lines to maintain. They've got, you know, agent infrastructure to maintain. That's why solar, not only Solar City, other solar companies can offer it at such a low rate, because they got less than half the cost. The power plant is on your roof, okay? This is an example of what Solar City does. No shading, 15 cents a kilowatt. It's below the lowest rate. Everybody can save money, okay? Why Solar City? I mentioned Elon Musk. #1 solar company in California. We got 50% of the market share. We're all Solar City employees, from the consultancy, installation, everybody. Here's the sale. Don't fall asleep. This is the sale. Premium service package, performance guarantee. We monitor the system. We repair it. We've got insurance coverage. And we've got a mounting system. This is what it looks like. A lot of people have problems with what they look like. It's called a sleek mount. It's a company out of Santa Fe that Solar City purchased. And Ken is your consultant and project manager. Yeah. Okay. I work all counties. I work everywhere. Okay. Also, ask Chris. Ask Hector. Awesome. Awesome. You don't know him on the weekends. I mean, trust me. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Remax Gold.
So, next what we'd like to do is start the part of our presentation here where we're talking about 3 ways to double your business by the end of this year. And starting us off and talking to us about the greatness tracker is from Advanced Pacific Mortgage, Mr. Alan Schwartzman. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Chris and leadership team, and thanks to all of you in the room who we work with, and thank you in advance for those we're going to work with. So, we've been asked to spend just a couple of minutes to share what I believe, and Mitchell Chernock, my business partner, and Kim Walters, we all believe in what we're going to be sharing with you. It's a very, very simple tool. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you in the room, just take the first 6 months of the year, can tell me, you can tell me what is your average number of phone calls you make a week? Raise your hand. You know it. One hand. How many of you in the room, same statistic, except how many of you for the first 6 months of the year can tell me your average face-to-faces in a week? Nope, one hand going up. Okay. Are phone calls important?
Yes.
Okay. Are the number of phone calls important?
Yes.
Okay. How come? Who can tell me? Well, why are they important?
The numbers game.
It's a numbers game. And so the more you do, okay, if you are I think I've heard Chris do this, he may have done it here. I mean, if you're a really good closer and you make 10 phone calls in a week, okay, and you are an 80% closer, okay, you've got 8 appointments, if that's what you're trying to do each week is to make appointments. If you're not a very good closer, let's say you're a 20% closer and you make 10 calls a week, you only got 2 appointments. So you might have to make 20 or 30 phone calls, depending on how good you are, to get the numbers you're going to need to be successful. And we're talking about, that video up front. Maybe some people are having trouble with their success or being successful. Want to share with you a very simple tool that if you use it, I'll challenge you afterwards. I can almost guarantee you it will increase your business. Now, it's called the Greatness Tracker. It's being passed around. And it's something that comes from CORE. Has anybody heard of the CORE? A few hands are going up. It's a wonderful training program. Can I have one of those? Okay, it's a wonderful training program for both our side of the businesses and your side of the business. This Greatness Tracker works for either side. It's simple and simple to use. So everybody knows each week you need to get face-to-face with people, right? Okay. This will give you the whole roadmap to success. If you will do what this says on here, and in a week's time do 15 face-to-faces. Now, who are we talking face-to-face with? It could be an existing client, proposed client, referral partner, okay? Anybody, okay? Even a favorite 50 in your database, okay? Somebody out there. 15 face-to-faces a week. Think about that. In addition to that, if you break bread with 5 people, okay? So we're talking a coffee, we're talking lunch, we're talking a breakfast. Would everybody agree with me that if you sit down with somebody over a cup of coffee or over a meal, you might get more out of that conversation?
Absolutely.
Typically so, okay? It's something's different about it, okay? So we know it works. You all know it works. The problem is that we don't know what we need to do, set our goals, follow up, and track it. So if we're talking about phone calls, this is talking about 10 phone calls a day. On one hand, it sounds like a lot. On the other hand, it's not a lot. It's 60 phone calls a week. So if you're a decent closer, even if you're a 20% closer, and you call 60, how many appointments is that? Okay, if you got 12 appointments, are you starting to get busy? I think so. Okay. So who are your phone calls with? They're talking about anybody with leads, referrals, client referrals, referral partners, all of that. It talks in here about events. Okay, and the goal is to go to 1 or 2 events a week, whether you attend it or you hold it. Okay? And for how many of you in the room actually hold client events? Okay. How long have you been doing it for? Just shout out.
3 years.
3 years? More like that? Do you find that you get business out of those? Okay, absolutely. It's another way of staying in touch. Okay, this will let you track how many hours you prospect, because the reality is that's what we do. We're prospecting all the time to get our business. And thank you cards. How many of you are doing the old-fashioned handwritten thank you card? Okay, a good fair amount of you. They really work. They went away, and now they're coming back, and they're very important. And so, this is a roadmap. If every single one of you in this room fill this up on a weekly business, you will blow up this company. You'll blow up your business, you'll blow up your office. So I'm going to stop now and let my business partner Mitchell share with you how it's worked for you.
Alan started off with a series of questions, so I'll ask only one. How many of you know exactly how many leads you've had this year and have them stored in a place where you can call every single one of them if you want to? Actually, a little over the third of the room. So we have budding champions and existing champions and people that want to do better. I tell people when I talk about the greatness tracker and sit down and talk about the lead tracker, which is the companion document that goes to this, that I was really good. And good's not good enough. Because if you want to retire from this industry, and you're not here to sell real estate, you are here to sell, and you are here to create a compelling life for yourself and create a succession for somebody to take over your business. And if you want to do that, you have to track everything that you do. So I've been coached before, and I thought it worked, so I just went on my own and started doing it and realized that I got away from it. And so when I got back to this in October, I was asked to just do one thing. Just surrender. Just sit down and do what you need to do. Do the simplest things in the world. How many of you have or know or contain 100 names or more in your database with names and phone numbers so that you could call them anytime that you want? I'd like everybody to raise their hand, because I'll tell you what, is when you draw a circle in the center and you write down the top 25 people that you know, and it doesn't make any difference who they are, sister, mother, father, brother, aunt, uncle, best friend, client, existing seller, whatever it is, if you know those people by name, you write them down, right? And then you have another circle, and there's about 50 people in that, and those are the people that you know, but you don't know their number, and you're going to get it from them. And you create a list, and the next is 25 people you want to meet, business partners, CPAs. Every time one of you gets a new client, and you turn them over to a lender, do you ever ask your lender, hey, who's that guy's CPA? Who is that guy's financial planner? Who is that guy's insurance advisor? Maybe it's all the same people. Those are folks that you're going to call. Alan said something that is so important. When you sit down and you have a lunch or coffee or something with somebody, something magical happens when you're eating food. And if you're taking notes and listening, and I'm still learning how to do that better, it is an amazing thing. So I have added to my business in a tremendous way since October, and I share this with anybody that gives me the opportunity to. Everybody knows Chris Powell, and a lot of you have heard some of the things that he said and how he promotes himself. If you've ever heard his listing presentation, he's never first, he is only number one. And if you want to be number one, call people you know. I'm not adverse to cold calling, but why would you cold call when you know people that you can call them up and simply say, you are part of my family now. I sold you a house, I listed your home, I helped your son or daughter move, and we are growing together. And I'm going to ask you to do something special for me. And that is that we're going to grow together. And I would like you to know that when I've accomplished what I need to, and it may be before we're done, then I will ask you for a referral. So be very, very cautious, but know that you have the right to do that. So I have a challenge for you, and so does Alan. There's about 45 or 50 of you in the room today. Go home and do something that I know that Theodis and Chris does, and maybe Hector. They have a power hour. It takes 1 hour to make 10 phone calls, and we will make 500 phone calls today out of this room and create incredible momentum. So I appreciate it. We are here to help. There's a lot more to this. We'd like to share it with you. Alan has one more quick challenge, and we'll be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell. Okay, this is the easiest thing on earth. Okay, it is on my desk with a companion lead tracker, which we'll share with anybody if you're interested. Kim has it on his desk. Mitchell, put it on your desk. When you pick up the phone, somebody answers, jot it down. It's so easy, and it gives you the roadmap. So I have a challenge to everybody in this room. Where are we? We're on the 10th. How am I going to do this? Okay, so let's say if we do this, I need 30 days. Okay, I need a month. I need 4 weeks. I'll be done in a minute. 4 weeks. If everybody in this room can bring to me 4 weeks worth of a full tracker, 4 weeks worth of a full tracker, okay? You got to be honest. You got to really do it, okay? There's a $100 gift card for you, okay? So everybody in the room, okay? 4 weeks, that's it. I am convinced that after 4 weeks, if you do this, you'll want to give me the $100. Okay? And for those of you that maybe are kind of just getting started or halfway in your career or so on, cut it in half. Do half of everything on here. Instead of 60 phone calls, 30. Bring that to me. There'll be a $50 gift card. Thank you.
All right. All right. If you implement this today, you will double your business by the end of this year. If you implement this, you don't have this system going, you will double your business by the end of this year. Why? Anybody tell me why?
Because it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. There's only one reason why we don't want to track what we're doing. There's only one reason. What's the one reason?
Lazy. Don't have the numbers.
Well, we say lazy, but I'm gonna force you to think a little bit more about this. The number one reason why we don't do this type of tracking is we're afraid of success. What do I mean by that? Well, what if this actually works? And I start becoming more successful? Do I have to continue to do this? Right? That's really what the fear is. What if I do it, it works, I know that it works, I do double my business, do I actually have to continue to do it? Then I don't have the ability to stop. But this has been the single sole reason why I have been able to be successful in this business, is because I do track everything. And by the way, us as a management team, we practice what we preach. We do a power hour twice a week as a group. We get down as a group, get together for 1 hour, 2 days a week, and we make calls as a group. We make live phone calls with each other in the room, and we do that as well. So when we're talking to you guys about the importance of a power hour, we're already doing that as a management team as well. Yes?
I want to make a comment because for those of you who find it daunting to have that power hour, make one phone call an hour. I mean, if you are dreading that hour every day, if you're dreading it, then make a phone call every hour. And by the end of the day, you've accomplished what you need to accomplish. So I'm just throwing that out because a lot of us are not disciplined enough, or we dread, oh God, now this is my hour, I have to make phone calls. But don't do it that way. If that's what you feel, don't do it that way. One phone call an hour, and your goals are met.
Very good. Okay, great. So next, let's move on to our top agent panel. Now, before we bring these agents up and speak with them, we believe that these agents are some fantastic agents within our group, and they all have a fantastic story. And so we've picked them on purpose for specific reasons because we think that their stories will be very relevant to all of you in the audience. But before I do that, we did forget to mention another brand new agent that has joined our team, Brittany Sanders. So let's bring them up real quick, and then we'll have some fun talk with them. Let's bring up Andrew Lamb from Vacaville. Let's give him a hand. Andrew Lamb. Bob Frappia from Napa. And Bill Bird from our Marin office. What we're going to do is we are going to have them tell you some things about themselves. I have a couple of their bios, but a couple I don't. But we're just going to have them tell you their bio real quick. I think it's probably better that way. And then we're going to ask them a couple of questions with regards to their business, and I'm going to tell you some numbers. All of them have fantastic numbers in their own way, and I think you'll be very, very excited to hear that, and they're here to share how they've been able to be such a success at Remax Gold. So we're going to start here with Bill Bird. So Bill, stand up for us and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name's Bill Bird. I'm with Remax Gold. I just kind of thought I'd break the word that way. I would say where I need to start is that I'm the proud father of 3 children. And due to my mismanagement, my family was completely broke. We lost our houses, our cars, and we couldn't feed our children. And that's what fuels me. So the first year I got in the business, I did 10 transactions. The second year I got in the business, I did 18 transactions. The third year was 36. The fourth year was 27. And this year I'm hoping to do 50. So that's
Good morning, I'm Bob Frappia, and I am dubbed by Mike as the new agent. So thanks to the preacher and Joe for keeping me motivated. But I retired from the fire department in the city of Napa at the end of last year, and I thought, well, I need to keep going. So I try something new and different and change it up and go into real estate. I had always thought about real estate. I've done a few personal transactions over the years. Anyways, it's been such a pleasure to join Remax, and so motivating, and everybody I meet is very positive and very helpful, and I really appreciate that. So thank you.
All right.
Hi guys, I'm Nicole Solari. I pretty much have the same story as Bob. I'm brand new as well, except I wasn't a firefighter. I worked in corporate America down in Silicon Valley, but very new as well. Started last April and then joined Remax in June of last year.
Okay, great. All right.
I am Andrew Lamb. Been with Remax 4 years, which is the entire time I've been in real estate, and started out on a team. And April of last year, I think, went independent. Started my own team around August, and I think I did 19 transactions last year, and 21 so far, about 6 million in volume this year, and looking to add on people like Andrew. And father of 3 2 girls, 1 to be determined. Ultrasound this morning, we didn't find out the sex. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so let's talk numbers, right? Because you guys are okay. That's great. But what are their numbers? Okay, so let me talk about Bill here for a second. So Bill is tracking right now to do about 30 million. So he's got about 15 million at the halfway point. Is that pretty positive? Is that nice? Okay. And that will equate to about 50 transactions. Okay. So now Bob, first year, Bob has already at the halfway point has $4 million of production first year as an agent. He's tracking for 8 million first year. So now in Nicole, I have that. Where do you have? Let me make sure I get this right. Okay, so Nicole is tracking for about 50 transactions as well. Is that about right? And has $9 million worth of production at this point, brand new agent at Remax, tracking for 18 million. These are pretty fantastic numbers, don't you think? Okay? And Andrew, you're gonna have to tell me because I don't have. I know Andrew. Andrew, you're tracking for about?
We're tracking at about 13 right now, hoping to get to 15.
Okay.
And 21 transactions, about 6 million right now.
Okay. So you're tracking for 12 million for the year?
It's a little over 6, so 13-ish.
Okay, so it's on track for 12, 13 million for the year. Okay. So we have a couple of questions for them that we're going to ask them to answer. I'm going to give them the mic. We're going to just go down the line, and then after we're done, you guys can ask them questions. But these are fantastic stories of agents that are doing a fantastic job at Remax Gold. And so we also wanted to tie that into how that does tie into Remax Gold as well. So the first question that we're going to ask is, why did you decide to join Remax Gold?
The reason why I decided to join Remax, I was really happy at Century 21. And then I went to their convention, and they didn't talk about any new technology. And then I met Chris, and over about 3 months, Chris showed me about all the technology, all the presentation. I don't know about you guys, but that the map of the United States, well, I open up my presentation with that little glowing where it's going deep, and that's a transaction going into contract. So the reason why I chose Remax Gold was technology and really looking forward.
Bob?
I chose Remax because of the people, mostly to keep me motivated, and the training. So I said, I looked at a couple other real estate companies in the Napa area, and then I went in and I checked them out, and I looked for the technology, but also the training. And the fact that Lead Street's available is pretty amazing, and that's a 24-hour access. And then we have the helpline and broker availability, so all those things were very positive to me. Lastly, I have to make a plug for the Davis team because Dale and Sherry have been my mentors through the process, so they've been very helpful.
Nicole?
I came to Remax after a very short stint at a local boutique, and I did my first transaction there, and the way they taught me, which I'm not sure if you can actually call it teaching, but the way that they showed me to do the transaction just didn't make sense. And so I had Carrie Foley, actually, I knew her personally, and I talked to her a little bit, and she was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Come talk about Remax, and I saw the comp plan and signed that day.
I came to Remax because I knew someone who was a team leader. I knew I was brand new and needed some help. When you're getting your license, don't learn much about transactions or how to get business, so I needed some help there. And my wife was a transaction coordinator for that team leader, so it was really easy to make that decision. So I actually chose to stay with Remax for all these years for two really good reasons. One is the freedom that we get. If you think about it, there are over 30 offices we can access at any given time. So I have met people in Natomas, in Davis, in Vacaville, in Fairfield, in Green Valley, in Napa. So it's great to be able to use all of those facilities. Secondly, it's the culture. As a team leader now, I meet with agents and it's amazing how bad the culture is in a lot of other companies. I mean, agents literally crying about their situation in front of me. So there's drama just between agents and between agent and broker. And we don't have that here. And I love it. I'm able to work with other Remax agents and just not have any of the drama, the heaviness that weighs down a transaction.
So hold on to the mic. So here's our question. Since you all are very, very productive agents, you're doing a fantastic job with your business, I thought it would be important to tell the audience, what is your typical day like?
Typically, I'm in the office at or a little before 9. I am calling all the leads that came in overnight. Usually between 9 and 10, 10 to 11, I'm following up with people, either current clients who I'm showing homes to or seller prospects who haven't listed yet. And then from there, it's the reactive tasks. So in the morning, I'm only doing the dollar productive stuff that moves the needle for me. And then after that, I'm responding to emails and all the chaos that a transaction creates.
You mean a transaction creates chaos? Wow. Nicole?
I'm in the office every day as well. Definitely Monday through Friday. Try to get there by 8, open up the office, and always allowing time for triage throughout the day, but doing the sales activities during the day, and then following up with emails and doing those things that you can't talk to your clients about at 9 o'clock at night, doing the emails, the marketing, stuffing envelopes 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Bob?
Well, I'm not as rigid. Let's see, I go for a run in the morning, and I have a dog, so it drags me around the neighborhood. Then I eat kale and eggs. Then I get into the office, and I have coffee with Mike and Andrew. But those 3 hours in the morning are the key of, 1, making those phone calls, 2, doing some training, and 3, I'm trying to get better at social media, so I'm spending an hour. And I set my phone, I have a little reminder, it pops up and goes, time for your power hour. So I do that for my activities. And then, yes, in the afternoon, it's kind of settle the transactions and finish the paperwork. And Leandra is still training me on what to do, so that's what I do.
Bill?
Hi, so I get up in the morning, first thing I do is pray, and I say hi to my kids. Normally on the phone, because they don't get up that early. It's summer now, right? And then I'm in the office about 9 o'clock or a little later, but I'm starting my phone calls right at 8:30. I try to call expireds I start calling expireds about 7:45. Lately there's not that many and it's hard to get the phone numbers. Then about 9 o'clock I call all my leads. or I call clients I need to talk to. And then at 10 o'clock, I check in with my assistant. And then every Monday, I check in with every single seller that I have a listing contract with, whether it's on the market or not on the market. And then that usually goes until about 11, and then 11 to noon, I go ahead and I do my paperwork, or I'll schedule showings. And then on Mondays between 2 and 6, I cold call the whole time. I cold call for sale by owner, expireds, past clients, sphere of influence, kids. My kids' classes are a great source of business for me. And I call it NODs. So I definitely spend at least 4 hours a day on the phone marketing.
How many listings do you have right now?
I currently have 6 homes on the market. I currently under contract have 15 homes under contract right now for listings.
All right. Okay, next question. What are the most important factors that have led to your success in remax gold? Yeah, we'll go back down.
I'd say the most important factor is my real estate coach, which is Harris University. I started with Julie Harris, then I went to her husband, Tim, and now I have Hank. His name's Hank. And I think it's really important to choose a coach that you absolutely believe in. And for you to believe in a coach, he has to have been in this business. I am at a high level. Julie Harris sold 100 homes per year for a very long time, and I checked her out. And you know, I know there's other coaches out there, but if they are not in the business or have been in the business with a day-to-day grind, they cannot relate to what's going on with you. You know, because we all have good days and we all have bad days, right? And a coach that has gone to a listing appointment and you didn't get it, right? And why didn't you get it? Well, the seller wanted to list with a 27-year-old gorgeous girl, right? Okay. And I say that because that's not typical, but I get pretty depressed when I lose to something I can't control. And I take it really hard when I don't get the listing. And by having a coach that has been there, they will pick you up.
Wow. Oh, real quick. It's funny you just said that because I've talked to you many times. So you have a goal that you want to accomplish in Marin. And what is your goal to accomplish in Marin?
So I want to be the first agent to do 100 sales a year. And no one's ever done that in Marin County. So it's that big dream number. But I'm positive by 2017 I can do it. So.
Okay, don't get down just because they said they got to listen to this other person. Just move on to the next one.
There's your coach.
After retiring from the fire department, you got to understand that when you're in the fire department, you become cheap and frugal. So I haven't got a coach yet, but I do have Chris and Joe and the rest of the office staff, and they pump me up and help me out quite a bit. So I've been relying on that and the training on Lead Street and following that. But I can say the other good experience and training was going to the annual REMAX convention in Vegas for the networking and the training we got there, and coming out and putting that into play.
Great.
What was the question again?
What are the most important factors that have led to your success at remax gold?
I'm a big proponent of goal setting. I think if you don't have goals, you're never going to reach them. So I have my 30, 60, 90, I have my daily goals, I have my annual goals, I have my 5-year goals. And I write them down, and I'm always looking at them. I write them down in my notebook, and when I run out of room in that notebook, I write them in the back of the next notebook, and I just keep, the goals in mind. Also, plug for our REMAX R4. If you're not going, you need to go, because it motivates you. I still reference things that I got there every day. And then also, you guys have seen the movie The Hangover, that Asian guy, he's like, but did you die? I just keep in mind that nobody's gonna die over real estate. I talk to other agents all the time and they're freaking out and they're crying, and nobody's gonna die over real estate. So just, remember that at the end of the day, the transaction's gonna get done. Don't freak out.
Andrew?
definitely want to echo that. Strategic planning or quarterly and yearly goal setting is huge. Literally, I went from 2012 to 2013, and not calendar year, but like August to August. I did about 700,000 in business in 1 year, and then once I actually set a goal and tracked it, I did 7 million. So literally 10x my business. So it's huge. And then tracking everything, and I have a spreadsheet that literally tracks how many people I've talked to, how many appointments I'm going on, the average commission that we're getting in every transaction, everything. So it's this big, huge spreadsheet. And then just time blocking your day, setting up your calendar so that you know exactly what you're doing and when, and you know when you're deviating from that, you know what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're on Facebook for 10 minutes and it turns into 20 because you saw a cute kitten video, you know to get back on track and to start calling your clients and following up. I think those are probably the biggest things.
Okay, staying with you there. What one piece of success advice would you give to the group?
It's hard to pick just one. I think it's just the time blocking. Making sure that you know what you're doing every single day, that you're committed to it, and that you know, and this is probably the reason behind that, know your why. Know why you're in real estate, why you're getting up in the morning, be passionate about it, and keep that top of mind whether things are good or things are bad. Because you can have a bad day and lose a couple of listing appointments. I talked to a guy, he lost 130 listings in 1 day. And it wasn't REO, it was an investor client. And he was pretty depressed.
Because he got it all out of the way.
But, you know, he moved on. So don't dwell on those things, especially the things you can't control. Just move on and keep in mind why you're doing what you're doing.
Answer your phone, people. It's that simple. I mean, I know it sounds so easy, but how many times have you called someone and you know they voicemailed you because in the middle of the ring, it went straight to voicemail. And even worse, they voicemailed you and it says, I'm sorry, the voicemail box is full, and you can't even leave them a message. So, I mean, it's not that hard to listen to a message and hit delete. Have an empty voicemail, answer your phone when you can, and return calls. It's that easy.
Okay. Bob?
Work your sphere of influence.
Yes.
I would say everything they just said. But I think 90-day massive action plans, Chris, we can talk to Chris about that. That is, I run my business by 4 90-day massive action plans depending where I am to my goals for the end of the year.
Great. Okay. Pretty good, huh? Does anyone have any questions for our agent panel? You have some very successful agents sitting up here. They're willing to share what they do and how they are successful. So is there anyone that would like to take advantage of that right now and ask them any question? Any question? Yes?
When you, Nicole and Bill, when you say massive action plans, what are we talking about?
Well, Chris showed me a 90-day action plan. So what I do is I take 90 days and I say, how many listings do I want to get? How many buyers I got? Then I take into account how many listings I have. And then I figure out how many phone calls I need, how many contacts, how many listing appointments I need to get there. And then I window my whole 90 days for that. And I also give myself rewards. If I make all those goals, I take Saturday off, or I get to go home Friday and I take my kids to Great America or something.
Everybody get that?
Yes.
So massive action planning is really how I got started, and where part of my success was is breaking up the year in 3-month increments. Okay? Why is that so important? Does anybody know?
It's easier to swallow.
Most of us, it's hard to focus on a year plan. It's just very hard. So if you break it down to a 3-month plan and have big goals for that, you'll usually you'll usually go over whatever your yearly goal is. So the massive action plan is just basically figuring out what's the most that I can accomplish in this next 90 days. You forget about the rest of the year. Just the next 90 days, what's the most that I can accomplish? And then you reset that in the next 90 days. Yes?
Do you have that in writing or something you could share with us?
Yeah, massive action plan, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Anybody else? Yes?
Do you use a CRM data management, and if so, which one and why?
I've been using Lead Street. We had some great training with the lady from Sacramento, Susan. I think she's in.
Campbell?
So, and I've been using Open Home Pro. So I pull my leads from the open house and immediately put them into Lead Street and set them into that drip system. And then there's also a little training aspect on the top Remax agents and how to incubate the lead. So you start with a text message, follow up with the email, and then the phone call. And I'm just getting this going, but it's working. So that's what I'm using.
Gladys?
Did any of you have an assistant?
Our question was, did any of them have an assistant, or do they have an assistant?
I do.
So three of them. Three of them have an assistant, yes.
Do they have teams?
Well, Andrew has a team, Nicole has a team, so two of them do.
Anybody else? Yes?
I wanted to ask Nicole especially how she gets her leads.
How do you get to it?
A couple of different ways. I ask people, who do you know that I can talk to that might be interested in buying or selling or know someone that was? I mean, it comes out of
Can you guys hear
nowhere.
back there?
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I can speak up.
Here.
So I've actually had a couple of leads come from some unique places. So I talk to attorneys and I get probate leads. I talk to my financial planner and ask him when he meets new people if he could just introduce me to anyone and everyone that he thinks might be valuable to me, and then he hooks me up with people who aren't necessarily buying and selling, but are in the industry and knows about buyers and sellers, so investors, or there's like a gal who does like the make me move stuff, and just talking to anyone and everyone, they come out of nowhere, and unless you're out there talking to people and telling them what you do and wearing your name tag in public, and I know sometimes it's embarrassing wearing the name tag and the Remax pin, but I wear it everywhere I go, and people are like, oh, you work at Remax? And I'm like, yeah, well, what do you know about Remax? Or just talking to everyone.
Anyone else? Yes? Candy?
How long did you wait before you got an assistant?
I got an assistant. I remember I had 18 transactions going, and I thought I was, the did you die? I thought I was gonna die. I was like, I need help. So I hired a full-time assistant, but that was about 6 months after getting my real estate license.
Bill, when did you get an assistant?
I got an assistant my third year. I'm really a believer in cash flow first. So you've got to have the money to keep her, and you got to have the money to sustain the downflow too. So.
Okay. Andrew?
I got an assistant as soon as I got so busy that I realized I was taking time away from my family in order to spend time in real estate. Like I was in the office from 8 a.m. until about 6 p.m. and I have a pregnant wife with 2 toddlers already, so I couldn't leave her alone all day. So I got an assistant at about, I think it was July last year. I decided when I had 10 transactions going, I needed to get someone on board.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. What did you guys notice that they all had in common? What were the common things that they all, yes, sir?
Consistency.
Consistency. What do you mean by that?
They're doing the same thing every day the same way. It's like baseball, I think you're going to swing the bat 100 times or throw the ball 100 times.
That's
not
right.
to get good just doing it once in a while.
That's right. They all have some sort of consistency in their day. What else do they have in common?
Setting goals.
Goals. Talked a lot about goals. You read stuff about goals all the time, and every time we bring up goals, people go, I've heard about goals before, but the truth of the matter is, they say the difference between somebody that actually writes down goals versus the person that doesn't, the person who typically writes down goals makes anywhere from 5 to 10 times more than that person that doesn't. I mean, it's just that simple. So you really should incorporate writing down those goals on a regular basis. What else did we notice they all had in common? Yes, Emily.
They work every day.
They work every day. And that's kind of interesting, right? And when do most of them get into the office? They're usually there 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, right?
Unless they're running their dog.
Unless they're running with their dog and eating kale and eggs. Okay. What else? What else did you know? Yes.
They're tracking.
They're tracking. They're tracking their progress. How can you know where you're going to go if you don't track where you've been, right? How can you know that? Yes.
They're not secret agents.
They're not secret
Let
agents.
everybody know what they do and they're in the business, and that
That's
brings
right.
more business to them.
They let everybody know what they're doing. And that's what impressed me about a lot of our agents up here, that I know them all pretty well. And so I see their structure. And I remember going in, and I remember when we brought Bill over, I walked into his office and he had this crazy board up, right? He had that crazy board. And it's all different color coded, right? And so he puts this crazy board up, and the color code is what drives him. He knows if it's green, right, it's go time. That's when he calls. That's when he goes to make money. So all he's going to do is look up at that board, and that board directs him into what to do, right? And so all of them, I notice, have incredibly good systems. They are very consistent on a daily basis about how they go out and do their business. What else? Anybody else? What'd you notice?
Well, I think that they all have their own style, and I think that's
Exactly.
extremely important, and especially the runner and the kale omelet. All of you, really, but the fact that you don't get caught up in somebody else's method of success. You do what works for you, and you'll be successful doing that, rather than trying to be Bill, or trying to be Nicole, or trying to be Andrew. You're yourself, and I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One more. Anybody? One more thing. Yes, Candy.
They know why they're doing it.
That was really, really important. Know your why. Why do you do this every day? And we were at a meeting in Marin last week or 2 weeks ago, and the person doing the meeting for us said, "What's your tennis ball?" You know what that means? I thought that was cool. So you know how when you have a tennis ball and you throw that tennis ball, and you know that dog that runs after it every time, right? Because the dog loves to chase that tennis ball. So what's your tennis ball every morning? What motivates you to get up each and every morning? What's your why? That's a big deal. Know your why you do it. All right, let's give them a big round of applause.
All right, that was good stuff. Some of you may know, most of you probably don't. In 1995, I was homeless. Homeless, broke, lonely. I would say I had lint in my pockets, but I had holes in my pockets, so if I did have lint, it fell out my pencil. Fast forward 20 years later, I'm happily married, and I have 2 amazing children. My daughter, she's a senior at St. Mary's in Berkeley, and I have a son that's a 7th grader at MIT. Why do I mention that? I want you guys to write this book down or look it up on your phone. It's called The Slight Edge. And one of the reasons why this book resonated with me is because when I started to read it, I realized I was applying the principles of The Slight Edge starting in 1995 to get to where I am today. And the way this book was introduced to me, I was meeting with someone from Waypoint Financial. We were having a conversation of, having like a partnership investment thing going on. And I looked in his bag and I asked him, what was he reading? He pulled it out and he said that it's a requirement that we all read this book. So I said to myself, okay, thanks for sharing. I went and got it. I opened it up and I immediately connected with it. Because I know in this business, we talked about prospecting, making calls, follow-up, doing open houses. But somewhere in between there, real estate turns into rocket science. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it gets so complicated. I don't understand how, we go through the courses. For those of us who are agents, we take the salesperson exam. Some of us are brokers, take the broker's exam. But then nowhere in there is rocket science. So when I started reading this book and actually, being reminded, this is what I've already been doing naturally, it really simplified my approach to my day. And the concept of the slight edge is turning simple disciplines into massive results. Everyone up here talked about certain things that they do on a daily basis. Whenever I have a goal, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard it before, you know, how do you eat an elephant? Does anyone know that?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. One of the things that I like to say when people ask me, well, hey, Diaz, what's going on with you? How are you doing? I say, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. So what that does for me is it shrinks whatever goal, whatever thing that I need to accomplish, it shrinks it down, and it makes it a daily activity. So my focus becomes on the moment, the journey, but not necessarily the result. And that allows it for me to have a certain peace of mind when I carry out my daily activities. How does the slight edge work? Well, I know I have kids. They have a teenage version. I tested it out. I gave it to both my kids. My son went through it real quick. He's like, you know, that's a little too watered down. I want your version. When my son started reading it, he went from coming off the bench on his basketball team to becoming a starter. Because every day he worked on his free throws, he went on the side of the house, set up cones to work on his crossover, to the point where he got good enough to start on the AAU basketball team. That same son applied it to his homework, to his chores, and now he has a daily practice where his grades went from a 3.67 to a 4.0. My daughter, who has 3 AP classes, went from a 3.5 to a 3.8. So I've seen it work in my household, and I'm also seeing it how it works in this business. So when I have goals, you know, we all have goals, but I like to see, like I said, I like to simplify things. So I strongly recommend to get this book, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Results. One day at a time, one step at a time, 1 hour at a time, one moment at a time. If there's somewhere you got to go, you got to understand that it's not, you know, a just add water equation. You want to be successful, you want to grow your business, you can't go to the kitchen, pull out a cupboard, put a glass in it, open up a package, pour it, mix it and drink it, boom, you're there. That's not how it works. So moving forward for 2015, for the rest of this year, let's not get complacent in this market. This is a really easy market. We have to be honest. We're getting those calls. Hi, I'm a buyer, pre-approved. I don't have an agent. Can you help me? Hi, I'm thinking about selling my house. Can you come over and talk to me? And am I accurate? Are some of you getting those calls?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. One thing about the slight edge, and it reminds me, what we do now is going to determine what our holiday looks like and the beginning of next year looks like. So don't get so busy that you forget to prospect, that you forget to answer your phone, that you forget to use the tools, that you forget to realize what's really important, whether that's your family, your significant other, or whatever that is for you. So by applying the slight edge a little bit over time, we will be able to achieve the results that we're looking for. So the time is now. The time is not tomorrow. The time is not after you close your next escrow. The time is not after you clean out the garage. The time is now for us to take this information that we have and begin to implement it a little bit over time so that we're not so overwhelmed and it becomes a project that we never touch and it collects dust. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Okay, so far, 3 ways to double your business. Let's talk about the first 2. So far, how are you going to double your business by the end of the year? Write this down. Implement systems. Implement systems. That's number 1. So you got to implement systems. Talked about the greatness tracker. We talked about your daily. Write down what a day looks like for you, or what you'd like a day to look like, and duplicate that every single day. Okay? And implement a tracking record. So that's 1. We talked about this over and over. You will double your business if you start to track what you're doing. You will double your business. You might accidentally triple your business. Okay? Number 2, take what Deotta said to heart. Read, get that book. For your next massive 90-day plan, finish reading The Slight Edge. And number 2 translates into how to double your business. Think better. Learn how to think better. We can't think better on our own. We need help with that. Here's your help. Take the book, The Slight Edge, get it, read it, so you can learn how to think better. Okay? Now, the third way we're about to introduce is now, which I'm going to get ahead of myself, I'm going to tell you, and then we're going to talk about it, is use tools. Use the tools. We're going to talk to you for the rest of the day about the different tools and the different ways that you can use directly in your business. You'll be able to walk out of here today and start to implement these things. And starting us off with that is Mr. Joe Houston. So let's give him.
Good morning, guys. You guys, most of you want to know, well, who's Joe Houston, right? Because I don't know a lot of you. I am the manager in Napa, and I've been selling real estate for about 15 years. I was with another company prior to Remax Gold. They came on board about a year ago, and one of the things, I came for the money. Can anybody relate? I did. When I called Chris, and I came for the money. So I had not previously utilized the tools of my other company, which that company professed that they had great tools and great systems that I could plug my database into and that I could create business from. But I never found them very simple, and I never found them efficient or effective to use. So who can relate? I didn't. Has anybody ever tried to start using tools and it wasn't very easy to get your information plugged in, or it wasn't very easy to make it happen, so you just stopped, right? Well, I came here for the money, but I'm pleased to say that since coming here, I've realized that the tools that Remax offers are absolutely amazing. And the best part is, Bob said as a fireman, you get cheap. How many realtors are cheap? Do we like to spend our money, or do we like to make lots of it, right? We want to make it, we don't want to spend it on things that we don't need to spend our money on. Who knows that back in October, all of the premium services that are part of our Remax.net, our home street, or Main Street, I'm sorry, of Main Street, who knows that back in October, those premium services became a part of the package. They no longer cost an additional fee. Did you guys know that?
No.
So tell me this, who has logged into Main Street in the last 2 weeks? That's a pretty good number, not bad. That's about a third of the room. I don't know if that's the same group that raised their hands earlier or not, but who has logged into Lead Street in the last 2 weeks? In the last 21 days? Do you guys know that to get the leads from Lead Street, you have to log in every 20 days, 21 days, within that amount of time? So if we don't do that, we begin to lose those leads. Why would the company do that? Because we want active agents who are we're going to work those leads and do a great job of turning them into buyer sales or listing sales to actually give our clients great service, right? Because we want to capture them and keep them, and then we want to turn them into sales. So you have to do that. But with Lead Street, so another question is, who in the room, by a raise of hands, has loaded their entire database into Lead Street? So with my previous company, they wanted me to give them all of the names in my database, contact info and everything. You know why? Because they were going to do marketing for me. But if I left that company, they still had my database, right? Our system doesn't work that way, you guys. Your information is yours. You can upload it into the system, and that's how you're going to create a greater number of leads within Lead Street. You're going to capture your clients when they go on to Remax and actually search for properties before they actually come to you and tell you that they want to list or buy a home. And so by uploading your information in there, you are going to turn a greater number of leads back to you, and you're not going to lose them by them searching on the internet, on all those other sites, right? So do you guys think it's important to upload your information into the system so that Lead Street can actually direct some leads to your business? If Lead Street can give you an extra 4 or 5, 6, 7 transactions a year, what would that do for your business, right? How much extra money is that just for taking the time to upload that information into there? Now, I told you I didn't like the previous systems that I was a part of, but Main Street, Lead Street, Design Center, it's all intertwined and it all works together, right? How many of us in the room, by a raise of hands, have contacted our clients in the last 90 days by email or by a mailer? Raise your hand. So again, we have about a third of the room, right? So about 2/3 of us aren't doing something like that. Now, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, if you didn't raise your hand, but you have contacted your clients by way of a phone call, or some form of communication like that, text message, in the last 90 days? Raise your hand. Okay, so just a couple. So we're missing out on a lot of communication with our clients, right? Or our past clients or potential future clients. Guys, it's a national statistic that if you, whatever amount of contacts that you have in your database, if you stay in constant, not to plug a company here, but if you stay in constant contact with your database, about 10% of those will turn into transactions throughout the year. So who has at least 100 people in the database? Who has at least 200 people in their database? 300? So guys, you can do the quick math, right? 10%. So all we have to do is stay in front of them constantly, right? And how do we do that? Because if we're not staying in front of them, do you think somebody else might be? Do you think they're finding information on the internet that people are, you know, the old days, I say the old days, like what, 7 years ago, we were concerned that if somebody walked into an open house and they got excited about the house, that open house agent might convert them into a buyer because, you know, they tell them you're going to lose out if you don't. But now, people are distracted so many different ways when they go to the internet that they can be guided off a different direction, something that looks really good. But if you have a database of 100 or 200, 300 people that you can stay in contact with, do you believe that if you can convert 10% of those, that would change your lifestyle in real estate? If you can do an extra 10, 20 transactions a year just by utilizing the tools that remax offers us that are already a part of your package that you don't have to pay anything extra for. So if you're using some sort of lead management system or some kind of marketing plan, marketing program, how many people in the room are paying for that, an additional cost, through any type of service that you utilize? Okay? So if you can convert and use that, use the systems that we have, the Main Street, Lead Street, Design Center, and convert 10% of your database into transactions this year, would it be worth spending just a little bit of time to get your information plugged into the system and then utilizing through Design Center the different marketing campaigns that they have? Because you can set up marketing campaigns through email or postcards to go out automatically on a time schedule that once you set it up, it's very, very simple to manage, right? I didn't do any of this stuff prior to having I always had an assistant that would do these things for me. So if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I really want to, take the time to do that amount of work, find somebody that will do it for you. It is well worth the investment to get involved in it. So real quick, I want to wrap up one thing with you guys. Who utilizes the mobile app? You guys have it on your phone? Will you guys do me a favor? Obviously you don't have to if you don't want to, but I would love for you to pull out your phone. I want you to download the mobile app to your phone. To me, this is the biggest part of what I'm sharing with you, because this is a way to capture leads as you're talking to people. I love that Nicole said she wears her name badge, and she's out there talking to people, creating relationships through real estate conversation, right? By doing that, can you imagine that you have a mobile app and you say, Sally, it's great to meet you. It's awesome that you're looking for homes. Let me show you how you can get notified every time a home in your market, in the price range and criteria that you want to come, you can get it to come right to you. And guys, I want you to go to the internet on your phone. I assume everybody has an app, Safari or something on your phone. Go there, and I want you to type in getmobile.remax.com. Give you about, I know you're all quick with your thumbs, but is anybody not there yet? Getmobile.remax.com. I want you to plug that in. Got to do it to make sure I'm doing it right here. Getremax.mobile. Everyone there?
Get mobile, get remax again. Remax.
That's right. Getmobile.remax.com. And when it pops up, everyone should see. Mine took me right to the. You should see the. You see on your phone there. You got a movie in there. Getmobile.remax.com. You guys, you should see the balloon. Thank you. And it's going to take you there. You can download the app. You can do this with a person. It takes about 30 seconds to make it happen. All they do is tap on the app, and you can personalize it to your name. It's getmobile.remax.net/your name, however you have that set up in Remax. And guys, when you download this to your phone, take the time to look at it, because what's really cool is the simplicity of how you can search through this app is amazing. And everything is linked to your information so that when your clients do that, wherever they are, wherever you drive, if you allow for the mapping, it will bring up the properties that are in that area. So somebody pulls up in front of a sign and they're curious to know how much the house cost or how much it's being offered for. All they have to do is bring up their app, and that listing is going to be on their phone through the app, and it's going to have the price right there. But all of the information, when they tap on that listing, it's going to come back to you. So they're going to call you and ask you for that information. Guys, I was given 15 minutes, but we're a little bit, I want to stay on track. So hopefully we've given you a few things. Log into Main Street, log into Lead Street, upload your contacts. And guys, just get with your leaders to help you utilize that system. It really doesn't take very much time, and convert your current clientele into great leads that you can make money and create a lifestyle for yourselves.
All right, thank you. All right. Remax tools that you guys have access to, it's part of your package. You can use that. I also want to talk about one other thing real quick with regards to the tools that you have. You guys are aware that as part of the premium package that Remax used to charge for, you now get as a part of your regular package is single property website, right? Who's aware of that? Okay, so if you're not aware of that, it's a big deal for you and your listings. So as soon as you get a listing, you need to go create a single property website. Does anybody know why it's important to create a single property website? It's Google search, right? If you create the single property website, that shoots it up to the top of the search engine, which could put you above a Trulia or a Zillow or a website like that. They click on that website, your single property website. How does that benefit you, the agent? Anybody that clicks on that, the lead goes directly to you. So that's why it's important. Those single property websites are normally, you would pay, if you're at another real estate company, you actually have to go pay for those. That's part of your Remax package. So you should be doing that as soon as you put the listings up on the board. Okay, so as soon as you put a listing on the market, you should be creating a single property website. Does anybody have any questions about the tools? Okay, I'm going to cut my part off because I know we got to get you guys out of here. We got to be respectful of your time. So, what are the three things? How are you going to double your business? What are the three things? Number one,
Implement systems.
Implement systems with goals. Right. Number two,
Think better.
think better. Learn how to think better. Get the book. Read the book, The Slight Edge. Number three,
Use tools.
use the tools that you have access to. If you want to learn advanced training on Lead Street, let me know. We've got a person that can actually do that, can teach you advanced training on Lead Street, and that person can actually help you upload all of your stuff to the system and get your Lead Street running better than you probably ever could have imagined you could do that. So if you have any interest in that, let your managers know, and then we'll get that information over to you as well. Okay? Let's go to business creation. Anybody got any new listings, back on the market's price reductions that they'd like to talk about? Hector? Oh, sold?
1437 Bella Vista is a property, 2,800 square feet, 5 bedrooms, has 2 masters, 1 downstairs, 1 upstairs. It's a great home, but it looks like you're in the 70s. So I know it needs 30, 40 grand to make it, bring it up. The bones are great. The people need to move their bed family, and they need to move out of state because personal reasons. It's listed at, it was at 370, now it's 329. So it's 1437 Bella Vista. It's a great either investment property. It won't go FHA even though with the orange carpet. So, that's...
All right. Anybody else? New listings, back on markets, price reductions. Eileen?
Speaking of dated, I have a new listing at 410 Nevada Street in Vallejo. It's a little old lady. She brought up, it's 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. She brought up 6 kids in this home. So that's absolutely amazing. But it's getting to be a little bit too much for her. It's at $219,900, which is amazing because it's just kind of right at the edge of the vista. So we're looking to get offers by this weekend so we can get her into a place that's more manageable.
Okay. Anyone else? New listings, back on market, price reductions. Hector?
Yeah. I'm listing my son's home tomorrow. He lives here at Paradise. It's a 2146 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, single story. It's in moving condition, and I just want to thank Vanessa. She went out there, Vanessa Cruz, she went out there and took some fabulous photos, jaw-dropping photos for the home on Monday. So the price on the home is $470.99, and it goes like tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? New listings?
4350 The Masters Drive.
Okay. New listings back in the market. It's coming soon. Okay. Couple things real quick. Broker office tour for Fairfield, Green Valley, Vacaville is July 16th. That's at 9 a.m. If you want to put your listing on that tour, we'll be sending out an email, so just look out for that. Also put in your calendar October 15th, Hector? October 15th?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Okay, so October 15th, that's a Thursday, right here at the Northern Solano County Association of Realtors, we're going to have our business planning summit. So we're going to put together a fantastic business planning summit for you guys, where you can literally walk out and put together your business plan from our summit. So we're going to have a lot of great things for you. It's a great time to start putting together your business plan toward the end of October. So we'll be putting together a regional summit for everybody to put together their business plan as well. Okay?
What was the time?
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Did you say the 14th?
15th, October 15th. I believe that's a Thursday. Okay? Anything else? Anything good for the order? Anything? Nothing. Just get us out of here. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. We hope you're able to take some of this stuff and implement it right away. Have a great day. Have a great week. And once again, thank you guys for coming.
All right.